Hello, I am number 1. I'm the very first number and I love being number 1. Look who's here now. Hello, I am number 2. I come after 1 and I always bring double the fun. Who's next? It's number 3. Hello, I am number 3. I'm always buzzing with energy.
I know you want to learn how to create this type of children learning video. Let's go so I can teach you how to do so. The first thing you need to do is go to ChatGPT, give it a prompt telling it to write a script about a 2D animations on numbers. Then to go ahead and generate it for you, and then after doing that you have to just go through your script. You can see it has an introduction and that's a scene for number 1, number 2, number 3 up to number 5. So I'm going to head over to Canva and click on video, then return back to ChatGPT and read the requirements for the introductory scene. Then I'm going to go to elements and type in garden background, choose this one, then go back to element and type in trees, make sure it is animated, then choose this first tree and then bring in another animated tree. Next, I'm going to go ahead and type in flowers so that I can bring in flowers. Make sure it's in graphics. So I'm going to first pick this flower. I think I like it. I'm going to bring in another flower and then fix it here. Next, I'm going to type in butterfly in the elements bar. I'm just going to type in butterfly. Then I'm going to pick this one, minimize it, then duplicate it and put it on the next flower too. Next, I'm going to return back to ChatGPT to read more about the introductory scene. Then I'm going to go to elements and type in sun face. I'm going to bring the sun and put it in 2 parts of the sky. Next, I'm going to type in number 1 because this scene requires that number 1 to 5 should stay in different parts of the garden. So I'm going to pick this number 1 with the face. I'm going to go to animate and click on wiggle, then reduce the intensity so that number 1 can wheel. Next, I'm going to search for number 2. Then I'm going to also bring it here and reduce the size. Go to animate and click on wiggle, reduce the intensity. I'm going to do same for number 3. Go to animate, scroll down to wiggle and reduce the intensity too. Then do that to number 4. Go to animate, click on wiggle, reduce the intensity. Then bring in number 5 too. Search for number 5 and bring it into. Then I'm going to also make it wiggle. Go to animate, wiggle, reduce the intensity. Now to add another page for number 1, then go to ChatGPT and read the requirements for number 1. Click on the page, then go to elements and search for hue background. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. So I'm just going to type in hue background, then click on graphics, scroll down and choose any one of your choice. I think I like this one. I'm just going to adjust it to fit the entire page. Next, I'm going to return back to elements and type in 3 and make sure it's in graphics. So I'm going to bring in this 3. I like this 3. I'm going to bring it and adjust it. Next, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and read the requirement again so I know what I am doing. I'm going to adjust the 3. Then go to elements and search for number 1. I'll make sure it's in graphics. Then I'm just going to pick number 1. This number, cartoon number 1, place it on the 3, especially where I have the leaves. Go back to elements and type in cloud and make sure it is animated. Then choose any animated cloud. I like the one with the face because kids love anything with face. So I'm just going to duplicate and put another cloud at the other end of the sky. I'm going to go back to elements and type in sun face. Make sure I click on graphics and bring in this sun with the face. Next, click on number 1, then click on animate, create an animation, then drag the number 1 from the top of the tree down. Now I have animated number 1. Choose your movement style and the speed, then click on done. Next, add another page. Then go to ChatGPT and read the requirements for number 2. Return back to Canva and in elements type in pond background. Pick any background of your choice in graphics and set it as your background image. Next, go to elements and type in dock. Then click on graphics, choose any dock of your choice. Go to flip and flip horizontal. Duplicate the dog and put it in another part of the pond. Drag the first dog back, click on animate and drag it to animate it. Choose your movement style and then click on done. For the second dog, click on animate, drag it to, then choose your movement style and the speed, then click on done too. Next, go to element and type in number 2. Place it on a lily pad, then go to animate, click on wiggle, reduce the intensity. Next, I'm going to click on add another page. Go to ChatGPT and read what number 3 says. Go to Canva and type in element picnic background. Click on graphic and choose this picnic background. Set it as your background. Then return back to element and type in bees. Make sure it is animated. Then put it on 3 parts of the picnic ground like this. I'm just going to duplicate them to put them on 3 parts. Next, type in picnic basket, then choose any of these picnic baskets, adjust it. I'm just going to adjust it and put it in the left hand side. Next, I'm going to go and type in number 3 and make sure it's in graphics. Then click on this cartoon number 3. Click on position, place number 3 in front of the basket and position it backward. Next, go to animate, click on create animation, then animate number 3 by dragging it out of the basket. Choose your speed and movement style and then click done. Next, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and read the instruction for number 4. I'm not going to bore you with how to create number 4 and number 5. I'm just going to speed up the process. Next, I'm going to go to Google and type in 11 Lab. Click on Get Started for free. Then register if this is your first time. Go to ChatGPT and copy the first narration for number 1. Click on it. Choose your preferred voice. Once you are satisfied, click on Generate Speech. Once it's done generating, click on this arrow to download it. Then go ahead to your computer in the download section and name your downloaded voiceover. This is very important so you don't get confused. Next, go ahead and bring the second narration for number 1. Then go back to 11 Lab, paste it, click on generate, then download it. Go back to your computer and also name the second narration so that you don't get confused when you upload it in Canva. Next, I'm going to bring the text for number 1 now. I'm just going to copy it, go back to 11 Lab, paste it, then click on generate, then click on download to download the voiceover for number 1. Do not forget to also name it. Next, I'm going to go to ChatGPT and bring the last narration for number 1, copy it and paste it in 11 Lab, click on generate and then download it, then also name it. Next, head to Canva, then scroll down to where you have upload, click on upload and upload all the voiceover you downloaded from 11 Labs. Just upload them because we are going to be using them on the graphics and animation you created for number 1 to 5 earlier. So just be patient for it to upload, and if you are still watching at this point, please do not forget to subscribe. Now I'm just going to bring in the first narration for number 1. Go ahead and duplicate page for number 1 because I'm going to bring in more voiceover for number 1. So I'm just going to bring in the third voiceover for number 1. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it again, duplicate the page again and bring in the fourth voiceover for number 1. You can see the wisdom behind naming your voiceover, so it's easy for you to know which one you're bringing in. So I'm going to duplicate the page for number 1 again, and I'm going to go ahead and bring in the 5th voiceover for number 1, adjust and bring it in. Then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the page for number 1 again, then bring in the next voiceover, I think is the last one. Then I'm going to duplicate the page again, then adjust it, Now I'm going to go to number 2, bring in the first voiceover for number 2. I'm just going to bring in the first voiceover for number 2. Then I'm going to duplicate the page again because I need to bring in more voiceover for number 2. I'm going to adjust, then bring the next voiceover for number 2. I think it's the second one now. Then I'm also going to duplicate the page for number 2 because I need to bring in more voiceover. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring in more voiceover now. I think the third voiceover. Then I'm just going to duplicate it again to create more space for voiceovers for number 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and bring in the next voiceover for number 2. Then bring in another voiceover for number 2, adjust it. I think I'm going to number 3 now. Then I'm going to bring in the first narration of voiceover for number 3. I'm going to bring in the second voiceover for number 3. Then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the page for number 3 and bring in more voiceover for number 3. Then I'm going to also go ahead and bring in another voiceover, I think the fourth voiceover for number 3. Then I'm going to adjust it, move to number 4. Bring in the first voiceover for number 4. Then duplicate the page and bring in the next voiceover for number 4. Then I'm just going to bring in another voiceover for number 4. Just search for it here, yes. Then duplicate the page again and go ahead and bring another voice, I think the fifth voiceover for number 4. Then adjust it. Move to the last number, which is number 5. I'm going to bring in the first voiceover for number 5. I'm going to adjust it, then duplicate the page for number 5 and bring in the next voiceover. You can now see the wisdom of naming your voiceover after downloading them from 11 Labs. I'm just going to go ahead and bring in the next voiceover for number 5. Then I'm going to duplicate the page because I need to bring in more voiceover. I'm going to bring in the last voiceover. Now take your timer to the beginning of the page to play and then listen to the final work. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel, share, like this video and leave a comment. Finally, I'm just going to go ahead and click on share button, download, and then download your video in MP4.